Can we begin housekeeping remarks, please?
Thank you for participating in today's meeting. If attending in person, please do not connect to Zoom or teleconference while in the room, and please silence all devices. If translation is provided, click on the globe at the bottom of your screen to select either English or Spanish. Public comment will be taken after each item. If you're in the auditorium and wish to comment, please use the iPads located in the lobby or complete a blue speaker card as available. If you need assistance, please find a South Coast AQMD employee. Speakers may be limited to a total of 3 minutes or less for all agenda items. Times may be shortened to ensure all speakers can be heard. A countdown timer will be displayed on the screen for each public comment. More time will be allotted for Spanish translation that is not simultaneous. For questions or issues on making a public comment, please call the public advisor at 909-396-3247. That's 909-396-3247. Please adhere to the speaker time limit and treat others with courtesy, civility, and respect. Failure to do so can result in your mic being muted or you being removed from the meeting. Be aware that this meeting is being recorded. By participating, you authorize recording of audio and visual content presented during the live event and consent to subsequent use of the recording in the public domain by South Coast AQMD.
Gracias por participar en la reunión de hoy. Si asiste en persona, favor de no conectarse a la conferencia telefónica o Zoom mientras esté en el auditorio y silencie sus dispositivos. Si traducción es disponible, haga clic en el icono de globo en la parte inferior de su pantalla para seleccionar inglés o español. Se tomarán comentarios del público después de cada punto. Si se encuentra en el auditorio y desea dar comentario, utilice los iPads ubicados en el vestíbulo o complete una tarjeta azul según esté disponible. Si necesita ayuda, localice a un empleado de South Coast AQMD. Los comentarios pueden ser limitados a un total de 3 minutos o menos para todos los puntos de la agenda. El tiempo límite puede ser reducido para que todos los comentarios puedan ser escuchados. Se mostrará un temporizador de cuenta regresiva en la pantalla para cada comentario público. Se asignará más tiempo para traducción al español si no es simultáneo. Si tiene preguntas o problemas sobre cómo hacer un comentario público, llame al asesor público al 909-396-3247. 909-396-3247. Respete el tiempo límite y favor de tratar a los demás con cortesía, civilidad y respeto. De lo contrario, es posible que se silencie el micrófono o que sea retirado de la reunión. Tenga en cuenta que esta reunión está siendo grabada. Al participar, usted autoriza la grabación de audio y contenido visual presentado durante el evento en vivo y da su consentimiento para el uso de la grabación en el dominio público por parte de South Coast AQMD.
Thank you, gracias. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome all of you to the June 5th, 2026 meeting of the South Coast Air Quality Management District's Governing Board. And thank you very much. And I'd like to lead off with a Pledge of Allegiance by Supervisor Manuel Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please join me in saluting our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Supervisor. Faye, would you like to call the roll, please?
Mayor Locke Dawson. Here. Senator Delgado.
Here.
Supervisor Hagman, absent. Supervisor Mitchell, absent. Councilmember Nazarian. Supervisor Nguyen. Mayor Almos.
Here.
Board Member Padilla Campos.
Morning.
Supervisor Perez.
Here.
Mayor Rodriguez, absent. Dr. Bretland, absent. Vice Chair McAllen.
Here.
Chair Caccioti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Move to opening comments, and before we go board member comments and Wayne, we'd like to make an announcement. We want to honor Dr. William A. Burke. The auditorium we're sitting in is named after him. As many of you know, Dr. Burke passed away on May 28th, 2026. Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife, Yvonne Burke, former supervisor of LA County, their family and friends. I want to honor Dr. Burke's distinguished, unprecedented 27 years of leadership and service on the South Coast AQMD Governing Board, 23 of those years as chair. During his tenure on the board, he consistently demonstrated commitment to public health and bring environmental justice to all residents. Just a couple quick facts. His leadership on the board led to adoption of 268 rules with other board members and staff that reduced 270 tons per day of VOCs, 250 tons per day of particulate matter, and 100 tons per day of NOx. Those are emission reductions, but what it doesn't tell you is how many kids, families, seniors were prevented from going to the hospital from an asthma attack, didn't ever get cancer or other respiratory problems. He was a leader pioneering nearly $2 billion in technology incentive funding, which replaced more than 35,000 pieces of polluting, high-emitting equipment. He initiated technology development partnerships, resulting in significant heavy-duty engine emission reductions globally in the development of zero-emission technologies for mobile and stationary sources. Vice Chair, would you like to continue?
Thank you very much. Dr. Burke's greatest legacy, of course, was the passion for environmental justice. He was a trailblazer as he created environmental justice initiatives, including developing the South Coast Air Quality Management District Environmental Justice Community Partnership and the formation of the Environmental Justice Advisory Group. He has been a voice for the voiceless and an advocate for justice and equality. He led with integrity and unwavering dedication to our mission to improve air quality and protect all communities.
Thank you.
Dr. Burke engaged youth and young adults in policy efforts through the formation of the Young Leaders Advocacy Council and expanded education to middle and high school students, spearheading the Why Healthy Air Matters of the WHAM educational program. And we have a short video that Nehal and her team had put together to honor the life and accomplishments of Dr. Burke. The video includes a portion of South Coast Air Quality Management District's signature film, The Right to Breathe, which displays Dr. Burke's passion and vision to improve air quality for all. Following the video, we will have a moment of silence to honor the great Dr. Burke and his accomplishments. Please roll the video. Thank you.
I spent 50 years of my life with a heavyweight champion of the world. Everywhere he went, everybody knew him. Everybody wanted to touch him and talk to him. While the president of the United States or the president of Russia was trying to get his attention, he was picking up a baby or a young person and touching them and talking to them and empathizing with them. That's what made him a great champion. Environmental justice is the same exact thing. You have to take care of the people who don't have the power to take care of themselves. You have to represent them in halls that they sometimes are not represented in. Because if you don't do that, you're not really on a life mission that is worthwhile.
For our board, however, the goal is not to spread the burden of health risks equally across our region, but to reduce the burden for all.
This morning I am announcing a new chairman's initiative, the South Coast AQMD Environmental Justice Community Partnership.
We have a moment of silence. Thank you, Dr. Burke. Supervisor Perez, did you want to make a comment?
I would, Ms. Chair and colleagues and staff, and folks that are in the audience, folks that may be watching. Every so often, we come across individuals in our lifetime that transform our world. Not only our surroundings, our communities, but even ourselves as individuals. They have a way about them that's just so beautiful, so patient, so kindly hearted. Individuals that are just wonderful in their mindset as to why they exist and what is their purpose. Dr. Burke knew what his purpose was, and he talked about a legend of all legends, Muhammad Ali. And although we can love and appreciate Muhammad Ali, I would put Dr. Burke on the same platform. And love and appreciate Dr. Burke the same as Muhammad Ali. Dr. Burke set the tone for air quality, not only here in our own backyard within the South Coast, but throughout the state of California, throughout the nation, and even internationally. As they say, some folks are able to move mountains and see between the trees. He was one of those individuals. I've always was impressed and taken back by his powerful words, the language that he would use, the style in which he would reach people, his influence, his mannerism, his smile, his approach, just kind-hearted. Even with individuals that potentially would come and would be angry because potentially we just didn't do enough. And he felt that we would get there. And he still heard them out. And he would take meetings with these individuals just as much as individuals that were on his side, in his corner. Somehow he had a way about him to be a convener, not choose one side over another, but truly to create a balance. And ultimately understanding that that balance was to ensure that the power lay in the people and that the air quality, and we deal with the issues of air pollution and all those struggles, but not only lay among the people. And listening to our own communities and those that would be struggling, but we demonstrated it not only through words, but through action. And it was mentioned earlier by our chairman, by all his proposals and all his policies, and moving forward those policies, proposals, programs, services, and then being asked to speak all over the world, I would think, and definitely throughout the nation and throughout the state of California, just because of the individual that he was, a man with purpose. He set a tone for us. It's our responsibility, our obligation to try to live up to that tone, to try to live up to that standard. And it's difficult. I don't know how he did it for 27 years, and even beyond that. I don't know how he found it within himself every single morning to wake up every day and say, today's a good day. Today's a new day. No matter how hard it is, we're going to make it better. Somehow he made that happen. I'm just so happy and honored to have been able to meet this fine gentleman and be in his presence. I will definitely miss him. May he rest in peace.
Thank you, Supervisor. Vice Chair McCallum.
Thank you very much. And there's no way I could add to what Supervisor Perez said. He, having served with him, everything you said was accurate. I remember everyone may not know he had racehorses. And my memories of him, other than this board interaction, was he would invite me occasionally out to Santa Anita to watch his horses race. And that was a great time with him and Yvonne and his daughter. So those are fond memories that I have. But I'd like to, if we can, move on to what we're here for today. And I'd like to tell you that last week I was honored to represent AQMD at the Athena of Riverside Awards luncheon, where our very own Mayor Locke Dawson received this year's Athena Award. The recipient of the award must meet 3 criteria: professional excellence, community service, and a demonstrated body of work in assisting women to achieve their full potential. Mayor Locke Dawson excels in all of 3 of these categories and criteria, and it's definitely deserving of this prestigious award. As one of the few men attending the event, it was a little intimidating being in the room with all these accomplished women, especially since there were 4 previous recipients of the award sitting at my table. So join me in congratulating Mayor Locke Dawson.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Committee, board members, any more opening comments? Supervisor Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to take a little pause. As you know, the GKN incident in my district a week ago or 2 weeks ago, now, I don't remember the date. And I want to acknowledge and take a moment to recognize and sincerely thank the dedicated staff of South Coast Air Quality Management District for their extraordinary work and partnership during this incident in Garden Grove. As you know, it took us 5 days to be able to bring down and be able to allow everybody back into their home. It was the 2nd largest evacuation in the county's history. And what I've learned and realized in this is, in moments of crisis, the public often sees the emergency response vehicles, the evacuation notices, the press briefings, but what they do not always get to see are the countless professionals working around the clock behind the scenes, monitoring the air quality, analyzing the health risk, coordinating logistics, communicating critical information, and helping protect the safety of our residents. This perfectly describes AQMD staff at that incident. So I wanted to personally thank Wayne, who was on site throughout the whole process. He was extremely, thank you for being so patient with me and explaining to me, helping me to understand the protocols, the technical processes, and many of the complex aspects involving managing an incident of this magnitude. I don't wish this upon any elected official to have to go through this, but his willingness to take the time to explain the situation, answer the questions was incredibly valuable and deeply, deeply appreciated by me and my staff. I also want to acknowledge and thank Dr. Jason Lowe for his tireless leadership and unwavering commitment throughout this whole incident and the ongoing recovery efforts. He's been on site nearly every day for the past 2 weeks, providing guidance, expertise, and reassurance to local officials and impacted communities. His presence and accessibility made a tremendous difference. I mean, he was there that Friday when I was there at 6 in the morning, because I got a call at 4 in the morning from the healthcare agency. And so he was there, and it was actually, no matter how severe, how big of the situation is, he has a straight face. It was like, there was not, every time if I'm panicking, I just need to look at Dr. Lowe. Then I'm calm. He's just like, it's okay, Sue, we got this. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure about this? But he was very helpful in just, I literally had to go back to my chemistry days to remember what I learned from there. But he explained it, and I really appreciate it. I also want to recognize the following folks who were there too, and I'm going to butcher most of these names, so I apologize in advance if I pronounce it incorrectly. Naha Maguabi, Stephen Dutz, Dr. Scott Epstein, Terrence Mann, Dr. Payam Pakbin, Dr. Angela Hare, Mana Twin, for their professionalism, expertise, and dedication during this response. In addition, though, we need to also remember the countless others across planning, IT, mobile monitoring, logistics, communication, and support teams whose work was critical to this operation. While many may not be publicly recognized by name, please know that your efforts did not go unnoticed by myself and also your CEO and the entire team. I also appreciate some of my fellow board members who text often and offering strength and also help. Wanted to acknowledge and thank Mayor Carlos Rodriguez, who was constantly calling me and texting me and offering help, whatever he can do, whether working with other mayors and council in the county. And he was also at the command center as well, offering any assistance. So on behalf of the residents of Orange County, particularly my district, which was 90% was impacted, was in my district, and the communities impacted by this incident, we thank you for your long hours. We thank you for your technical expertise, your calm under pressure, and your commitment to public safety and also public health. Your work exemplifies public service at its very best, and we are truly grateful for your partnership and support during this very difficult time. While I know that the evacuation has been lifted, I will continue to work with AQMD, even to as of yesterday. As we continue to move forward, because it's going to take months to complete and finalize this, and wanted to make sure that the public is aware that we're working with AQMD, with EPA, with FEMA, with the county, you name it. We're all on site, and I have to say, having gone through this now, we have the best of the best, and most people don't realize they were working 24 hours every day. I was on site 15, 20 hours for 4 days, 5 days straight. And so, whether I'm at the command center or at the shelters that we were trying to open, we had over 2,000, almost 2,000 residents who went to the shelters. And, little things, that we learned from it, we're going to be putting in our recommendations for future emergency management to the Emergency Management Council, because we've done some very phenomenal, excellent things. But in any crisis, we can always stop, pause, and look at the gaps that we missed, and we can do, and then we can always fill those gaps for future, hopefully never evacuation, but you always have to prepare for the worst. And so again, Wayne, staff, thank you.
Supervisor William, thank you. I often heard you on the radio while I was traveling around the basin. You did a great job. I just have one question to describe Jason under pressure. I was on the phone a couple of times with Wayne as this started. How was his expression?
That's between us.
Mayor Rodriguez, Carlos, you were down there too, I understand.
Thank you. I just want to take a step back for a moment and echo the sentiments in honoring Dr. Burke. Just an honor to have served with him. And I know it's been said that when you're looking to do and make a difference, that you stand on the shoulders of giants. And I think that is appropriate to the indelible legacy of Dr. Burke. We're standing on his shoulders, and he truly was a giant of social justice and has left an indelible mark at the South Coast Air Quality Management District. His memory will be eternal, without a doubt. He was a gentleman. No one could run a meeting like him.
It's true.
He had a way of saying or disagreeing with you, and just expressing you're wrong, but it's like, oh, I feel like that was a compliment the way he said that. It's just like he's such a gentleman. But all kidding aside, being able to share with my children, I was newly on the board, and he was so kind to just meet with me. He didn't know me, and he took the time to meet with me before my first meeting. I think that was as impactful of getting onboarded as anything. Certainly being able to see the bar that he has left for us. The world will never be the same, but it truly is remarkable, the impact that he's had, and we will miss him. Also want to, and moving on for a moment, start when we're looking at the crisis in Garden Grove, how stunning it was to hear the options at the time of it's either, the tank is going to either blow up, explode, or there's going to be, thousands of gallons of toxic materials, spilling out. And to be thinking about that, it was stunning. I just want to start by applauding Orange County Fire Authority, all of those experts across the board, locally, working with EPA, just tremendous. The Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Wynn, that the attitude was, that's not acceptable. And being at the command center update that Saturday afterwards and just kind of listening intently in what was happening, being able to talk with the mayor and other elected leaders, that was the attitude, that wasn't an acceptable situation, and unbelievable that there wasn't those two options that came to pass. It was just a testimony to rising to the occasion. And I want to again echo the sentiments of the supervisor, but thank you personally for your tireless leadership and the epitome of the servant leader. You were out not only 24/7, but also with your constituents. And that's any time that would be horrendous to experience, but Memorial Day, all that's involved with that, to be going to those evacuation centers, to the gyms, so hey, we're going to bring Memorial Day to you. That was, what a blessing to see that. And, let's have some hot dogs together. You're trying to bring a little bit of cheer and home. I think that shows the heart you have as a leader, and they're very fortunate to have you there. And I want to thank you and the Board of Supervisors for engaging the state and the federal government to bring disaster relief as well, to make sure that all the resources were there as well. I would also want to just brag on our staff, world-class staff, 24/7 around the clock. Again, just being able to be there for a bit at the command center and just understand the enormous breadth and scope of the monitoring that was going on. Second to none, I'm sure EPA was learning a thing or two, and I guess there was true collaboration there. So thank you to Dr. Lowe, to Wayne, and the entire team. Do really want to also take a moment to thank Wayne with all that was going on, and spending time at CARB, and taking time away from that to engage with Orange County Council of Governments to help ensure that we had as informative a report for all the cities as possible. So thank you for doing that. And again, to our staff, I salute you. Thank you for making a difference. You guys truly are the best. We appreciate you. With that, I'll just stop there, and I'll just say that I had the opportunity to provide an update yesterday at the Leaders in Energy Summit in Ontario. AQMD was a sponsor of that event, so I had a chance to say a few words along with Supervisor Hagman and highlight some of the efforts on the technology committee as well. So it's a good day and great to be a part of that conference, and that'll conclude my comments. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Just a comment, this incident didn't just happen a regular weekend. As many people in the state were celebrating Memorial Day. I remember talking to Wayne and this incident started. So our staff really never celebrated a holiday. So I really want to thank you for taking your Memorial Day weekend and the whole week to really protect our community. Any more board member comments? I have some photos very quickly, and then I'll go to Wayne for some comments. Staff's out there. This was some staff at one of our events down in the Arroyo Seco in Pasadena, South Pasadena area. Thank you, staff, for showing up on a weekend. Next. This is what we do in South Pasadena. That's by our Garfield Park, off Fair Oaks and the 110 freeway. Every Tuesday, we have a couple bike buses that leave from neighborhoods. This is one by my house at Garfield Park. Make sure the police are in tow with our Tesla clean air vehicles. This is about 20 kids and about 10 parents join us to ride a half mile to school, and they enjoy it. They don't have to drive their cars. Next. This is locking out of Flint Ridge. They just converted their July 4th, their Rose Bowl float to an all-electric float. It came from our AB 2766 money, so at the event with Congresswoman Chu and others supporting them. Next. This is an event a couple weeks ago. Aaron and staff, we were down at Rio Hondo College demonstrating these vehicles. These are these medium-duty vehicles that all cities and counties are going to have to ultimately transition to zero emissions by the Advanced Clean Fleet Rule. I know starting next year, it's tentatively 2027. All cities and counties purchases must be 100% zero emission, although I think CARB may be trying to extend that to 2030. I hope they do, because this is a conversion vehicle. They take the vehicle, class 2 or 3 or 4, and convert it to all electric. Next. And that's Sam from our staff. This was at the factory at Evo Electric in near Compton, Rancho Dominguez, showing some of their bays where they transition these or convert these vehicles from gas powertrains, drivetrains to all electric. Next. There I am with their CEO, Jackson Alvarez, showing me the batteries, technology in their vehicles. Next. And this is a typical South Pasadena utility vehicle, which all your cities and counties probably have thousands of these. But let me tell you, when you go out to look for them, no OEM manufactures these. Ford, General Motors, Hyundai, Chrysler, they don't do it. And Ford, when they had the Ford F-150, 250 electric, they took those off the market after they'd met with the current administration in Washington. So you've got to go through the conversions, and some of those are on our agenda today. Next. But I know the mayor by the way, in Riverside, there'll be a grand opening. There is one company besides Evo Electric, Voltu. Mayor, I've been out to that factory a couple of weeks ago. It's huge. And I know your city's one of the first to buy at least 10 of those vehicles. They take a Ford 350 chassis and basically take the motor out of it and just put an all supercharged electric motor with about a 400-mile range. And we thank you for that, Mayor, because there's really nothing on the market, and we hope they do really well. And this is Wayne, staff, Heather, is that Mike over there? Sarah, do you see, can you see what that is in the background? It's the guitar. So we're at Fender, who we actually regulate for some of their emissions. And we're talking next. And then we did a little tour after our talk, and you can see all the guitars in the background. Next. It's a huge facility. As they're going through the process, they're finishing off putting coatings on. Staff is protected in there. We had to wear protective gear. Next. A huge facility. There's more. It's just a massive facility that goes through the different processes. Next. And that's what you see on the way out. Incredible. We asked them how many they produced. Used to be like 700 or something. Now it's down to 500 a month or something, 400, 500 a month. But again, the thing I want to tell you, staff, again, another kudos. They said they had more trouble opening or getting permits from the fire department in their city, but AQMD came through like that. They just, high praises for AQMD staff, and that's great to hear. Next. And this is our second bike bus. This meets at our library. You can't see, but there's 103 kids there, ranging from age 4 on their bicycles with little training wheels to parents and adults, and about 35 parents next. And you can see them taking off, going around the corner. It's about a half mile to the school, and they do that every Tuesday, and you just love it. Next. And that's it. Thank you very much. Wayne, did you want to have any comments? If you could, I know that we're talking about Orange County, but that day when you called me, in our huge 4-county district, there wasn't only Orange County. If you might want to tell us what was going on, and I don't know if we have any maps or anything.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, I do have a lot of comments, but let me first start out with expressing my gratitude to Supervisor Nguyen. I felt like you were our den mother while we were on site. You made sure we were caffeinated. We had great Vietnamese coffee. You made sure that we were fed. You brought us sandwiches. We were out in the open sun. You gave us a canopy, 2 of them. You and your staff were truly incredible in terms of the support that we felt. And it's hard to describe to people when you're in the middle of an incident, all of the things that are going on around you, and being able to come and talk with us and learn about what was going on meant so much to everybody here. And then to hear, I'm off to the evacuation center. It was really inspiring to all of us there. So I want to thank you for your leadership, your compassion, and your support, because we talked about all the things that we want to get after that incident. So thank you for that. As you can see, over a span of just a few days, these were the major incidents that we were either monitoring or responding directly to. We had the Sandy Fire out near Simi Valley. We had the Bain Fire near Riverside. But Friday morning, of course, the start of a holiday weekend, or right about to start the holiday weekend, the supervisor got her call at 4, Jason got her call at 5, I got my call at 6. And by, I want to say 7:30, I'd gotten another call about an incident in East LA, and we were scrambling to deploy to GKN. And for the East LA incident, we really were all hands on deck for Garden Grove, given the severity. But we also understood the importance to the residents of East LA. And I want to thank I want to thank Board Member Padilla Campos for raising that issue to my attention, and her patience in terms of working with us and seeing what we could do. I want to again acknowledge what has already been said about our monitoring analysis division. Being able to mobilize our mobile equipment, get a crew ready, make sure they're all safety trained, ready to go, deployed, is in of itself a big deal. But 2 in the same morning, it's really unheard of. But our team was able to get out to East Los Angeles. It was very coincidental, and in many ways it was very sad, but it was also very reassuring that our teams are able to deploy with confidence and integrate with US EPA. So when I was with US EPA in the Garden Grove site, they were getting reports from our US EPA colleagues at East LA thanking us for being out there to provide the monitoring and the information to the community that they couldn't do because they were right in the middle of the response. So it's not just one major incident, but it was two on the same day. And our team responded like nobody, not even EPA, could put out the resources that we did on both sites from the monitoring perspective. And I don't want to diminish what EPA did, because EPA, they brought it. They were able to bring the area arrays. They were able to get those deployed. They were able to bring their start contractors. It truly was amazing. And if I can just share this one sentiment that I heard from the OSC, the on-scene coordinator lead from EPA. We love working with you guys. You guys are the best. We work the best together. And that's a testament to our team and to the training. And it's also a testament to the fact that we've deployed a lot of times. And working with OCFA, many of you are familiar with what happened at the Tustin Hangar fire incident. We heard Chief Covey say that's a generational experience. This Garden Grove incident was another generational experience. And the fact that our teams can integrate, working with fire, working with Orange County Healthcare Agency, public health, all of those groups, is a testament to the readiness and to the support that you all provide, so that we do have the resources to move forward. And then just to top it all off, it was Sunday, and many of us were pretty fried by then. And we get a call in the afternoon that, hey, there's a tire fire going on and there's a lot of smoke. And I think a lot of us just broke down. There's like, not a third one. And that was that tire fire that was out near Southgate. There were two other incidences that I didn't reference here. One was the World Oil Recycling, which we monitored, worked with Compton Fire Department. Our teams went out into the community. We're still looking at inspection enforcement action as a result of that. The same is true for the other incident. But as you can see, the last weeks have been intense, and we've been able to rise to the occasion to meet all of those. So again, as has been said, I really want to thank our staff for their tireless dedication, commitment, and I know there are a lot of people that just want to go to sleep. So I'm going to be quiet with regards to the incident. There are a few other things, though, that I do want to mention. Supervisor Perez, I'm hoping that you're going to talk about what happened last week, Friday, in Coachella. So
I wanted to see if you had anything you wanted to.
we have a video teed up for you, so I can finish it and then you can follow after that.
Yeah, that's for sure, but let me just state real quick that. Let me just state very quick that I appreciate, obviously, the team that went out there. But I got to give it up to Nahal. Where is she? Is she here?
She's in the back, probably in the press room, waving maybe at us. There she is, waving in the back.
Yeah, she like made sure everything was on point. You know, obviously besides other staff too, and we had UC Riverside, UC San Diego, and you'll hear about it right now, but Nahal was obviously the press, the PIO individual that met with all the folks back in my neck of the woods regarding the press and making sure that people were informed of what we were trying to do to deal with the dust mitigation efforts that AQMD is tackling out in the Coachella Valley. So I'll end with that, but Nahal, I just want to give it up to you. Thank you and your team, and obviously our AQMD team as well.
Thank you, Supervisor. Just a couple more items, and maybe then at the conclusion, we can see the video that we have from that event. As you know, last week, we started our student intern programs. We had 16 students begin part of the 11-week program. And here's our chair with some of those students. In June, we'll be welcoming 15 more students as part of the second cohort. And as a reminder, we'll be having the governing board student internship breakfast before the August board meeting. We will be dark in July, no governing board or committee meetings in July. And so our next governing board meeting is August 7th.
Who was that GQ right there in the middle of that photo? With jeans and everything, looking on. He was ready to come out of a magazine cover.
Absolutely. And maybe we can conclude with the video of the Coachella event.
The first way we want to improve public health in the Coachella Valley is reduce the emissions of dust. And in order to do that, we want to mitigate dust. We need to know where a lot of the dust is coming from. So we're funding work with UC Riverside and UC San Diego to go out and do measurements of soils all throughout the Coachella Valley.
So what we're trying to do over a 12-month period is make as many of these measurements throughout the Coachella Valley as we can to try to understand how much dust is being created in different parts of the valley, but also in different types of areas.
The big focus of this project is not on kind of purely scientific questions. We're not focused on publishing papers. We're focused on providing information to drive action.
We need that data in order for us to figure out what those mitigation efforts are going to look like and the type of resources we're going to ask for.
Our first goal is reducing the amount of dust that gets into the atmosphere. And then our second goal is to provide the public with the information to know when air pollution levels are high.
Once again, I just want to say thank you. And I think this, look, for a period of time, you probably have heard me already, like a broken record here, talking about concerns that we have in the Coachella Valley dealing with dust, especially when we have the high winds. Fortunately, folks actually got to feel the winds, but where we were, there wasn't much dust in that area. We were at the campus of community college as well as, well, not the community college, I'm sorry, Cal State San Bernardino, Palm Desert campus, and UC Riverside campus. But I think this is what people want to see is the actual action. And this technology of sorts, this new equipment that, quite frankly, I don't know how to entirely explain because I'm not a scientist of any sort. But obviously the scientists that were there and the university, the two individuals from the universities, know exactly what they're doing. And they're going to obviously figure out where this dust may be coming from in order for us to try to mitigate it as much as we possibly can, because we do have limited resources. People want to see that sooner than later, right? And we had to do something. And I'm glad that we're finally here, besides our monitoring systems. And there's going to be much more follow-up, obviously, and more points being made. There is a group of folks back home, policymakers throughout the entire Coachella Valley, known as Coachella Valley Association of Governments, led by Executive Director Tom Kirk. But basically our mayors, our city council folks, and even special districts that are engaged in this issue, and public health folks, nonprofit, and the tourism industry. Because once again, the Coachella Valley is a $9 billion tourism industry. And that's what really makes the Coachella Valley go round and round. And anything that we can do to try to ensure that ultimately people feel like they're breathing clean air is a good thing. And that's what we're trying to identify. How bad is that air? Is it really bad or not? What's in that air? What's in that? What type of dust is it, for that matter? So I think that, more to come. And I appreciate us doing this. And I will be sending you, Wayne and staff, some questions that came from us afterwards from staff for you to consider, to highlight, to try to respond to for the media and for whomever want to be asking these type of questions that I've already heard before in the past that we have to address.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any more comments? Then we'll move on to the public comment portion of our agenda. And this is time for the public to comment on any subject within our jurisdiction or authority that does not appear in our agenda today. We've got a lot of speakers, and I know we've got also a closed session afterwards. I don't want to lose any board members. We've got to vote on some issues. So without objection, can I reduce the public comment to 90 seconds? Is that okay? Sorry, we got some important matters to vote on. I want to make sure we vote on it today. So let's begin with the in-house, and then Laura, you'll do the online, which is just increasing. So we'll start with Carmen Martinez. Carmen, please come forward. And next is Maria Galvan, Marie Nishitani, and Marvin Norman.
Yeah. Just want to make sure I got that right.
Is Carmen here? Carmen, por favor, come forward.
She needs translation.
Does she need, Carmen, I think needs translation says Espanol. There we go, thanks.
Sí.
Go ahead, Carmen. Empieza.
Estoy muy interesada en todo esto que está pasando ahorita y quisiera que nos dieran un entendimiento para entender lo que está pasando con lo del aire. Tuvimos
So I wanted to thank you guys for everything that you're mentioning, and I wanted to be able to understand what it is that's happening with the air.
En Riverside tuvimos un incendio muy cerquita de mi casa. Yo tengo un hijo que es asmático.
We had a fire in Riverside, close to my house. I have a son who has asthma.
Y pasamos muy terrible el tiempo porque tenemos que estar yendo al hospital, pidiendo que nos den oxígeno. Y nos gustaría mucho que nos pusieran atención en cuestión del tiempo, que nos den mejoría de tiempo del aire.
So I wanted to mention that we had a really difficult time with all that. We had to go to the hospital, and we wanted to ask for you guys to give us time, provide us, pay attention to us, make sure that our air is better.
Es todo lo que tengo para decir.
And that's all I have to say.
Muchas gracias. Maria? Welcome.
Good morning, chairs and members of boards. My name is Marnish Tani, and I live in Pomona. I work and volunteer at a small community farm surrounded by industrial facilities and warehouses. And even though we as community work tirelessly to provide safe and healthy food without clean air, our health continues to decline because we cannot choose air to breathe. Please, governing boards, continue promoting industrial electrification and achieve zero emission of heavy-duty machines. Thank you.
Your last name is Nishitani, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is Maria Galvan here? Oh, you're next. Okay, come on. Thanks, Marie. Welcome.
Thank you all. Good morning, board, staff, and community. Trying to hurry up in 90 seconds. I don't even know what that is. But my name is Maria Gavan, and I'm from Ontario, the most polluted city in the nation. Clean air matters to me, so our community's children and elderly can thrive with good health. I support cleaner technologies and reducing pollution. For example, AB 1146, I suggest for the future board priorities in the future is making sure there are less warehouses and that industry facilities change from gas boilers to electric heat pumps and boilers and electric boilers. And also I would like to say, considering all the crisis that photo you showed up there regarding the community, I mean, it's so tragic, right? And thank you for all your work. Thank you, the staff. I mean, everybody's been doing a great job, right? Combating these fires. Oh my God. Because I live in Ontario and we had the warehouse fire over there. They did a great job in, combating that, the firemen. Oh my God, it was so amazing. I'm like, wow, that was like a miracle right there. But I would like to say, but 90 seconds, there's crisis going on in the future, maybe give more time to the community. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Maria, thank you very much. And if you want to testify in this matter online, please sign up now because after Mr. Norman completes his comments, welcome, Mr. Norman, good to see you. Once he completes his comments, we're cutting off public comment online. So if If you want to comment, public comment, online, sign up now. Once Mr. Norman is finished, we're cutting off the line. Thank you. Marvin, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair, members of the board, public. Marvin Norman, San Bernardino resident and with CCAJ. I'm here. First, I'd like to also share the moment of silent condolences for Dr. Burke. I believe he was, his last meeting was one of my first meetings I attended as a staff member of CCAJ when we voted on 2305, the warehouse ISR. So it was good to see that memory of him again and see the, and just, I know we have 2305 work going forward, and it's good to see that it has started to make a difference. I know I'm seeing more electric trucks and stuff at the warehouses, so glad to remember him in that way and to see the progress has been made. I would also like to, again, I know we had CARB meeting last week, and I know some AQMD staff were there, and we were talking about an interesting decision they were making on the board at CARB last week, and that is impacting our region as well. So hopefully, I know legislators interested in that. And regarding the fires and other stuff, I know I believe I saw Wayne yesterday at the Coalition for Clean Air event, and I hope you got a chance to check out the drone guys. It seems like they have some stuff that would be interesting for us for the ports ISR, or well, ports agreement at this point. And of course, and thank you for all you guys are doing, and keep up the good work. And hopefully we can get 1146 done this year. Thanks.
Thanks, Norman. Next is Maria Velasquez, followed by Luz Maria Hernandez and Jennifer Tejada.
Muy buenos días. Buenos días, mi nombre es María Velázquez.
Hi, good morning. My name is Maria Velasquez.
Agradezco mucho el que nos estén escuchando como comunidad.
I thank you very much for listening to us as a community.
Soy de la ciudad de Rialto y vengo apoyando también en la organización CCAEJ.
I come from the city of Rialto, and I come supporting the organization CCAEJ.
En lo personal me gustaría el apoyo de para nuestras ciudades a tener mejor calidad de aire.
I would like support for our cities to be able to have a better quality of air.
Me concierne mucho que paso del tiempo.
I'm very worried that as time goes by,
estamos teniendo muchos problemas de salud.
We're having a lot of health issues.
Sabemos que las enfermedades no discriminan a nadie.
We know that diseases don't discriminate against anybody.
Pero me da mucha pena que hoy día estamos afectando.
But I'm sad to hear that today we're affecting or having negative effects
en gran número a personas mayores y niños de nuestra comunidad.
Mostly to people that are older and young people in our communities.
Y me gustaría pedirles
And I would like to ask of you
el apoyo en checar a profundidad
your support in checking deeply
el manejo de los boilers comerciales,
the management of commercial boilers,
la construcción de aperturas de bodegas comerciales,
the construction and opening of commercial warehouses
cerca de las comunidades.
Near communities.
Y pues en lo que es la comunidad en lo que es la cuestión de aire.
And regarding the air, the quality of air quality.
Ver la posibilidad de asistir a nuestra gente.
To see the possibility of helping or assisting our people.
Que es más afectada.
The ones that are being most affected by it.
Como por ejemplo.
Like for example.
Apoyando con purificadores de aire.
Supporting them with air purifiers.
Hay mucho de qué hablar aquí en este tema.
There's a lot to be said about this subject.
Pero 90 segundos no nos alcanza.
But 90 seconds is just not enough.
En lo personal les agradezco escuchar los comentarios de cada uno de nosotros de la comunidad.
And on a personal level, I thank you guys for listening to the comments from the community.
Gracias nuevamente.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Por favor, comienza.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Luz María Hernández.
My name is Luz María Hernández.
Soy residente de la ciudad de Ontario.
I'm a resident of the city of Ontario.
Soy madre y abuela.
I'm a mother and a grandmother.
Mi preocupación es
My
que yo
worry is
vivo en un área de las más contaminadas.
My worry is that I live in one of the most contaminated areas or polluted areas.
Y que hay muchas bodegas con emisiones. que agravan la contaminación del aire.
And there's a lot of warehouses that emit particles that make the air quality bad.
Para mí ha sido muy triste ver que mi primera nieta a los 8 meses de edad ya tenía problemas con su sistema respiratorio.
To me, it's really sad to see that my granddaughter, when she's only 8 months old, she's already having health issues, breathing issues.
Y a los 3 años de edad ya fue diagnosticada con asma.
And when she was 3 years old, she was diagnosed with asthma.
Mi preocupación no es nada más por mi familia,
My worry is not just my family,
sino por todos los niños de mi comunidad.
but all the kids in my community.
Ellos merecen respirar un aire más limpio.
They deserve to breathe a cleaner air.
Y no nos olvidemos que ellos son el futuro del mañana.
And let's not forget that they're our future.
Tengo la esperanza que alguno de ustedes pueda interesarse por la contaminación del aire en esta área de mi comunidad.
I have the hope that you guys will be interested or help us out with the pollution of the air in this community.
Muchas gracias por su atención y su trabajo.
Thank you very much for your attention and for the work that you do.
Muchas gracias, Luz. Jennifer, then Ana, then Marcella.
Good morning, Chair, board members, staff. My name is Jennifer Tejada. I'm a policy organizer with the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice, CCAEJ, a member of the SoCal Clean Manufacturing Coalition, and a resident of San Bernardino. Today, CCAEJ has brought community members from across the Inland Empire, including Ontario, Colton, Riverside, Hoopa Valley, and San Bernardino, to participate for this meeting. For some, this is their first time attending an AQMD governing board meeting. For others, it's their first time giving a public comment. I encourage the board to listen closely to their lived experiences because they represent communities that experience the impacts of air pollution every day. This is why we encourage AQMD to continue prioritizing efforts to reduce pollution from industrial sources, appliances, and the freight sector. We appreciate the agency's leadership in advancing cleaner technologies and exploring pathways to reduce emissions from large industrial equipment. As a member of the SoCal Clean Manufacturing Coalition, I also encourage the board to continue supporting efforts that facilitate transition to non-polluting technologies and to explore incentive programs that make those transitions possible. AQMD has demonstrated leadership in securing investments for cleaner transportation, and we hope to see similar momentum for industrial decarbonization. Thank you for your time, leadership, and commitment to cleaner air for all residents of the South Coast region.
Jennifer, thanks for taking the time and all of you for coming today. Next, Ana, then Marcella, then Claudia, and Patty.
Good morning. My name is Ana Gutierrez, and I'm a resident of Ontario and a community member. I'm here to say that the clean air matters because we all want to have a healthy life, and also we care about our children and our grandchildren, and we want them also to have a healthy life. That's the reason I support cleaner technologies and reducing pollution, especially in the Ontario area, where it's very poor air quality. I thank you, board members.
Thank you, Ana. Marcella? Then Patty, then Marty.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
Primeramente quiero darle gracias a ustedes porque existen personas como ustedes que se preocupan pues no solamente por ustedes sino que por la comunidad.
First of all, I want to thank you guys because there's people like you that care not only about you guys, but you guys care about the community.
Y mi sentimiento es este.
This is what I feel.
Yo no tengo hijos pequeños.
I don't have young kids.
Pero mis hijos y los hijos de mis hijos van a ser padres en un futuro.
But my kids and their kids will be parents in the future.
Y pienso esto. Si ahorita estamos respirando, tenemos aire mal, ¿qué será en el futuro para los hijos de nuestros hijos?
And the way I think is, if now we're having bad air quality, seeing how things are going, what will it be for them in the future? What will it be like?
Pienso que si todo el tiempo van a andar cubiertos de la cara, no solamente con esta máscara, sino que con máscaras más, ¿cómo puedo decir? Más fuertes.
And I feel like in the future, masks like this will not necessarily be enough, and they might even have to recur to like stronger mask or more. Mhm.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Dios les bendiga.
God bless you.
Gracias, Marcela. Welcome, Claudia.
Hola, muy buenos días.
Hi, good morning.
Mi nombre es Claudia Cuevas y soy organizadora en el Centro Comunitario de Acción y Justicia Ambiental.
My name is Claudia Cuevas, and I'm an organizer at the
Sí.
At the Centro de Acción y Justicia Ambiental, Environmental and Action Community Center.
Pues en la mañana, el día de hoy queremos tratar de que se pongan en los zapatos de nuestra comunidad.
I would like you guys this morning to put yourself in our community's shoes.
Nuestra comunidad es la más afectada con la calidad de aire.
Our community is the most negatively affected by the air quality.
La calidad tenemos que entender que nos afecta a todas las personas que respiramos.
This affects every person that breathes.
Hace muy poco en la ciudad de Ontario ocurrió un incidente muy grande.
Not long ago in the city of Ontario, there was a big accident
Con la quema de una bodega de papel.
with the burning of a warehouse that produced paper.
La importancia de la comunidad que estábamos todos con máscaras porque no podíamos respirar.
It was so bad that everyone in the community had to wear masks because we couldn't breathe.
La comunidad nos pedía si podíamos, nosotros teníamos purificadores de aire.
We had air purifiers, and the community kept asking for this.
O dónde se podían dirigir hacia sus ciudades para poder pedir ayuda.
They kept asking where they could resort to ask for help.
No hace muy poquito, hace 2 semanas, tuvimos un incendio en la ciudad de Jurupa Valley.
Not long ago, 2 weeks ago, we had a fire in the city of Jurupa Valley.
Que es muy poco tiempo de un incendio a otro.
And it's very short amount of time between one fire and the next.
Y nuestros pulmones respiran todo eso.
And our lungs are just taking in all of that.
Recuerden que no solo es papel, son químicos que entran en el aire.
Remember, it's not just paper, but chemicals that end up in the air.
¿Cómo nosotros podemos ayudar a nuestras comunidades?
How can we help our communities?
Estamos cansados de ir directamente a las ciudades pidiendo por favor que nos ayuden a detener las bodegas.
We're tired of continuing to having to ask the cities to prevent the spread of those warehouses.
Porque ellos solo vienen a decir que las bodegas vienen a traer trabajo.
Because all they say is that the warehouses bring jobs.
Pero lo que no entienden, que no saben lo que las bodegas van a traer a nuestras ciudades, qué tipo de químicos van a traer a nuestras ciudades.
But they don't necessarily care about what else the warehouses are going to bring, what type of chemicals they're going to bring in.
Entonces, por favor, les pedimos que también ustedes tomen el tiempo de dirigirse a cada una de las ciudades y exigir que la comunidad merece calidad de aire.
And so I ask you guys to please talk to the individual cities and demand or let them know that we deserve good air quality.
Y muchísimas gracias por el fuerte trabajo que hacen.
Great work you guys do.
Gracias, Claudia. Patty Toole, Marty McBride, and Eric Morden. Welcome.
Buenos días a todos.
Good morning.
Mi nombre es Patty Toole. Soy residente de la ciudad de Jurupa Valley, el condado de Riverside.
My name is Patty Toole. I'm a resident of the
Jurupa Valley.
Of Jurupa Valley in the county of Riverside.
Una de mis grandes preocupaciones es tanta contaminación.
One of my biggest concerns is so much contamination.
Y les pido por favor que si pudieran aprobar nuevas leyes para que se hagan y se exijan en cada ciudad rutas para los troques.
And I'm asking if it's possible to make or help make new laws so that in each city there's specified routes for all the trucks.
Para que estos no manejen cerca de escuelas ni zonas residenciales.
So that they don't drive close to schools or residential zones.
Es todo. Gracias.
And that's it. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Marty, then Eric, then Alec.
Good morning, Chair and board members.
Good morning.
My name is Marty McBride, and I live in Ontario, California. Clean air matters to me because I know that it leads to better health, which in turn improves educational and economic outcomes for children and adults. The air in Ontario has become less brown over the last few years, but there are still harmful levels of pollution that we cannot see, only feel. I applaud the SCAQMD's leadership in industrial electrification and call on you to now focus on emissions from large industrial equipment like boilers at warehouses by approving Rules 1146 and 1146.1. I also encourage you to create an incentive program to promote industrial non-polluting equipment, not only as an economic benefit, but also an act of environmental justice for nearby residents. Thank you for your attention and for your efforts to improve our air quality.
Thank you. Eric, then Alec, then Joel.
All right. Hello, my name is Eric, and I just want to first give my condolences to Dr. Burke. I heard he was a pioneer of environmental justice, and we're likely a product of that. Soon, 20 or so of us here from the marginalized community coming here to talk to you all about how important, the environmental justice is to us. I'm old enough to remember growing up in the 70s and 80s, and with all the first stage alerts and all that, and not being able to see the mountains for weeks and months at a time. And I know things have improved, and I want to thank all of you for all the hard work that you're doing. But there's a lot of invisible stuff that we don't see that's still out there. A lot of particulates in the ozone and chemicals that are in there that are causing a lot of problems, such as cancers, birth defects, which is something I was born with, a birth defect, and it's inexplicable why there's some of these things, all these cancers and birth defects. So please continue to monitor these and look into the impacts on our health, what it's doing, and don't give up the fight. Just because the air looks cleaner, there's a lot of invisible things that are out there, and we hope you all continue to keep looking into these for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Alec, then Joel, then Marie.
Hello, Chair and members of the board. My name is Alec, a resident of Ontario, California, with the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice. I care about clean air because corporations keep polluting Black and Latino communities like mine in the Empire. And I have allergies. My brother has asthma. We both have recurring bronchitis. It's time to prioritize health over profit. Programs like Where Work, it cuts nitrogen oxides by 1.47 tons per day and reduces diesel particulate matter. Industry claims that regulation stops warehouse construction, but a 2022 MIT study found national market forces matter more, not local regulations. In fact, 100 million square feet have been added since Where began. We urge this agency to enforce the indirect source rule and allocate over $70 million in mitigation fees for non-polluting equipment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Alec. Next is Joel. Welcome, Joel.
Thank you. I'm going to shift gears. So I'm Joel Berman. I'm with a company called Health Science Associates, and I'm a certified asbestos consultant, among other certifications in the state of California and nationally. I am here to talk about the problems that the regulated community is having with the toxics department dealing with problems with Procedure 5s and asbestos work. I understand asbestos needs to be controlled. I've been doing this for 40 years. But the toxics department has expanded what is being interpreted as part of 1403 with their frequently asked questions, which are not part of the rule, which they are attempting many times to enforce upon the rule and force down consultants. We get constant rewrites dealing with these issues. John Dickinson in the back has been trying to deal with this. I have been trying to deal with this with Victor Mann and Vincent Yip, trying to get assistance when we constantly get these requirements that are not part of the regulation, but yet the Procedure 5 won't be approved until we kowtow to what the inspector is requiring, including things that are not part of the regulation. And it's a very frustrating process. And now I understand that they're going to try to update Rule 1403. We went through this about 7 or 8 years ago. It was not a good update. It did not happen. We are, as the regulated community, are frustrated that we have nowhere to go to. No one seems to listen to our complaints.
Thank you, Joel. Next is Marie, Celis, and Ashley.
Hello, good morning. My name is Mari and I am from Fontana. I'm sad to see that Mr. Hagman is not here to represent my county. I am here with CCAG in honor of Dr. Burke. I'm here to request your assistance with cleaning up our air quality. Just yesterday, we had an air quality index of 127, which I'm sure you guys are aware is very bad for our sensitive groups. Normally, while cooking, I would open my doors and windows, but on bad air days, my only solution is to use exhaust fan. I have a gas stove, and as much as I wish I could go out and get an electric stove to have cleaner air, financially, I can't. As much as I'm sure so many others are in the same situation. The technology is there to remove the methane from my home. We request further support for the Go Zero program, since this is the easiest program that is within the agency's control. We request an expansion to the program, which would make it more affordable for families to make the switch to non-polluting appliances. We would like to request an additional $80 million to the program and find a permanent source of funding for the affordability program. We look forward to a continued partnership and working with the agency to expand the program, and so many other families can also benefit from this program. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Marie. Celis?
Hi, my name is Celeste, and I am here with CCAEJ. I am here to talk about my health that has been impacted by the dirty air quality from the warehouses and the vehicle cargos. We need this agency to help us clean up the vehicle cargos in the warehouses to better our air quality. Every time I see an electric vehicle, it fills me with happiness because more gas in the air also helps pollute our air quality. And even when the air quality is really bad, they still send us outside. So I thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, in our auditorium is Ashley, your last speaker here, then we're going to transfer over to online with Vice Mayor McCallan.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley Avila. I'm a resident of Paris. As I was driving here, I was kind of seeing
Ashley, is it from Paris?
From Paris, yes.
Thanks, go ahead.
Yeah. So, as I was driving here, I was seeing that gray layer of smog that everybody sees, and I've just been thinking about how I've pretty much seen that my whole life, and how my family has been struggling. That's like 3 generations of my family that have been struggling with not being able to breathe and just having to take a lot of medicine just to, breathe, just to live. And I think this is kind of normalized, and it shouldn't. But I do want to thank you guys for all the work that you do, and especially AEJ for all the work that they do, because that's also medicine. So I'm here to implore you to continue to clean up the freight industry. I live in Paris, and it feels like we're often forgotten. So please don't forget about us, and to continue to help tackle emissions from the large industrial equipment like boilers through support of rules 1146 and 1146.1. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Before we start with Vice Mayor, I just want to, on behalf of my entire board from the left, LA Councilman Nazarian, all the way to the right, Paramount Mayor Brenda Olmos, and all of us in between, all of our board members, we want you to come testify. We welcome your comments. It makes us, our staff welcomes it too. It makes us a better agency. It's part of the democratic process. We wish we could go 3, 4, we wish we could be here all day with you. We've got a lot of business besides these issues. So thank you for coming all the way from the Inland Empire. We come from many different areas, and I know some of you no comprendo inglés, so maybe my supervisor Perez from the Inland Empire can summarize.
Me gustaría que nuestro presidente de AQMD, he just said it in English already, though. So you don't have to say it in English. You can avoid that.
Maybe AI, I don't know.
So in any event, además a nuestro presidente le gustaría decirles a todos que muchas gracias por venir aquí con nosotros este día y que quiere que sigan porque es muy importante escucharlos, su voz, especialmente de la comunidad donde vienen ustedes y también por parte del concilio que está aquí enfrente de ustedes.
Can we stop the translation for a moment, please? And let supervisor speak in Spanish.
Y también por parte de nuestros trabajadores que están aquí como staff, queremos que sigan. Si no pueden venir en persona, tal vez pueden llamar, porque ya sé que también es difícil. Pero lo que ustedes están haciendo hoy es parte del proceso democrático, así se dice. Es parte de democracia. Democracy. Pero muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros, ¿ok?
Gracias, Supervisor. Vice Chair?
Thank you very much. I just want to remind people that we previously closed the queue. We have currently 8 people online who want to speak, and remind you that it's a minute and a half. First up is Stephanie Munson.
Hi, just want to test out. Y'all can hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Munson, and I live and work in Ontario. I've had asthma my entire life, so clean air is personal to me. Residents should not have to keep paying for growth with their health. I urge the board to take meaningful action to improve air quality, reduce pollution, and provide real relief for communities like Ontario that are directly impacted. Clean air should not depend on your zip code. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for your comments. Next, April Villanueva.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Abril Villanueva, and I live in Compton. And I'm a mother of a child at Jefferson Elementary, which is located 0.2 miles from World Oil. And I'm the president of Golden Block Club, located 0.07 miles from World Oil. And my daughter plays at Cesar Chavez Park, located 0.05 miles from World Oil, and where our water tanks are located. I'm here because I was at Jefferson Elementary during the fire at World Oil. And me and my daughter experienced some health issues. And following the fire, I made a report with World Oil, and I was met with an inspector that had bullied me in the past. And I had stopped making reports. But based on the smells that I have been experiencing, I started making calls and realized that her behavior was not only inappropriate, but unprofessional. I have made complaints, and I'm here because of everything that has been happening. I'm gonna summarize. Want to make 4 requests. If air monitors could be placed at Jefferson Elementary and Cesar Chavez Park, if we could please have physical copies of violation for World Oil when being issued, not just phone updates. Also, we could have preventative measures from inspectors being dismissive or bullying.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next is Tomas Castro.
Good morning, board. My name is Tomas Castro. I'm from Orange County, California, where the Garden Grove GKN airspace leak just happened and where 50,000 people were forced to evacuate on a moment's notice. Disasters like these happen more often than we think, and there are facilities all over Southern California, including facilities with industrial gas boilers that are ticking time bombs and silent killers of community members. You've heard from several community members today asking you to move with all deliberate speed to electrify and decarbonize these industrial gas boilers, and I just want to join my voice to theirs. Specifically as it relates to Rules 1146 and 1146.1, last month you heard from several students from local universities who are advocating for decarbonization of their campuses' boilers, and I urge you to listen to them as well. Expanding programs such as Go Zero make these industrial gas boilers more accessible to the public, and I urge you to vote yes in favor of moving forward with decarbonizing these boilers. Thank you.
Thank you, Tomas, for your comments. Next, Thurl.
Thank you. My comment is on methyl-bromide and the pending rule for methyl-bromide. The board has an opportunity to eliminate a threat to a community. One of the first that I'm aware of since I've been working on environmental issues. This is a time to start looking past reductions, but to look at eliminations. And the board has the authority to direct staff to do that. In relation to the bromide threat here in West Long Beach, the money, the technology is available. We need the will of this board to help this community start healing instead of continuing suffering from the effects of pollution. We are a 617 community, which is disproportionately affected by pollution. And not to eliminate this threat, we'll continue that. Reductions in some places are not the solution, and we have to do a better job of defining that and move forward in this century to start having zero negative health impacts. That does not mean we won't have pollution, but we will have standards where there will be no.
Thank you, Theo, for your comments. Next, we have Magali Sanchez Hall.
Yes, hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, good morning. I have two issues to address today. I'm from Emerge, Wilmington, and also I'm supporting Compton right now. Emerge, Wilmington, Environmental Justice. I am the founder director as well. We just wanted to address the issue that the Port of Los Angeles is still running on 100% diesel. And that's unacceptable when we know there is a transition to electrical operations, and we don't see that at all in the Port of Los Angeles. Therefore, my community is suffering heavily from asthma, the children, as well as cardiovascular disease, as you all already know, as well as cancer rates are really high. And you know, I know the industry calls us the sacrifice zone, and we want to make sure that that's not the case, that you do your job. And your job is not to ease the regulations as you seem to be doing lately and doing businesses without the community. You have to include the community, not just listen, but also put our community on the table when making decisions. Another thing, I was just in Compton, and the orders are very, very bad. I couldn't stay there at the Cesar Chavez from the World Oil Refinery. They're doing a lot of things. Violations are not doing enough. You have to close that refinery, period. And you have to find a way before a lot of children and community residents die. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Edilberto Torres.
Sí, buenos días, ¿me escuchan?
Yes.
Sí, bueno, mi nombre es Edilberto Torres, soy residente de la ciudad de Yorupa Valley y es importante prácticamente como comunidad felicitar a las personas que están al frente para mejorar la situación del aire, un aire limpio.
Un momento.
Vemos
Hold on, un momento.
muchas enfermedades.
Por favor, do we translate this?
It should be simultaneous.
Can we do simultaneous translation?
Okay. Vemos muchas enfermedades en la comunidad.
Because we can hear the English version in here.
Right.
And online.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Are we good? Can we have the speaker speak again, please?
Por favor, start.
Señor, si puede empezar desde el principio otra vez.
Sí, bueno, mi nombre es Edilberto Torres. Soy residente de la ciudad de Yorupa Valley y en mi ciudad donde yo vivo he visto que hay mucha enfermedad como asma, cáncer y otras enfermedades con respecto por la contaminación del aire. Eso es preocupante y primeramente quiero agradecer porque las personas que están ahí en la mesa sé que están haciendo un trabajo lo mejor que pueden y también los felicito porque nos escuchan como comunidad para mejorar la situación del aire. También estamos al pendiente con lo que son las reglas que están avanzando como la 1146 y 1146.1 y creo que eso también podría ayudar a nuestras comunidades a mejorar la calidad de aire. Gracias.
Gracias. Next, we have Javier.
Good morning. Am I being heard?
Yes, you are, Harvey. Go ahead.
Yes. My name is Harvey Hitter. I'm founder director of Public Solar Power Coalition. Been coming out here 40 years. Okay. First, I'm giving legal notice that we're litigating against y'all. We've given you this many times in the past under for EPA, CARB, and y'all that we brought you the Solar New Deal in the 2016. That was on the admission asked by Dr. Burke. Okay, in the 16 plan, it was totally ignored. It was a sunshot program and DOE model after moonshot. Okay, it's not evaluated. That's totally illegal, et cetera, et cetera. So now Dr. Burke was supposed to have followed up on this and things fell through in 19. We got run out of court for those by the federal marshals and the FBI trying to file stuff. This is really outrageous. Okay, I'm incorporating by reference ex-secretary of labor, and professor at UC Berkeley, Robert Reich. I want to incorporate his programs on Saturday, the Coffee Clutch with a K, and he also said that there's a big problem with AI. Now, he's an economist. He was Secretary of Labor, et cetera, et cetera. So the Supreme Court is coming up with a decision. They're trying to give the climate stuff back to the states and from the states to the federal government with the oil companies. There was a decision that came out recently. It's coming after you come back in August. It's coming right up. That's got to be challenged. You got to organize around this. So also he says that we need equity in the AI companies and equity in general to deal with the problems that are going on now. So I want that all in the record.
Thank you, Harvey, for your comments. Next, we have Gloria Goldstein. Well, Olivia Goldstein, excuse me.
Good morning. Can the board hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. My name is Olivia Goldstein. I am here representing Inari Holdings, a regulated facility. I asked the board to consider directing AQMD to review and approve laser technology as an avenue for continuous emission monitoring systems, which are capable of meeting the US EPA Part 60 and Part 75 SEMS requirements. I would also like to ask the board to consider publishing a process for stakeholders to make requests such as the above to get it in front of the correct party, as we have had trouble doing that as we review this technology for our site. I'm not sure if this is the right avenue to make a comment on rules 2011 and 2012, but since I have the floor, I'd like to thank the board for their review of the rules and just state that the current reclaim rules cause punitive action to be placed on a regulated
Those
facility.
rules will be addressed in item number 31. So you
Okay,
can make the
fantastic. If
comments
I'm
at
able
that
to make
time.
a public comment there, I will do so.
Yes, you will.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. That, Mr. Chair, that concludes public comment.
Thank you, Ray. We'll now move to the consent and board calendar portion of our agenda. And I'll ask board members if there's any disclosure.
Chair?
Yes.
Before you do that, I just wanted to note that for agenda item number 6, we're noting that Splash Transport Inc., which is identified in table 2 of the board letter, has been removed from consideration for a battery electric cargo handling equipment award under measure 3 of the CPRG for not completing its campaign contribution disclosure form.
Okay. So it's called Splash Battery?
Splash Transport Inc.
Okay, thanks, Bay. Any disclosures? I see Mayor Locke Dawson.
Hi, thank you. For agenda item number 4, I don't have a financial interest, but I'm required to identify the record that I am a board member for California Air Resources Board, which is involved in this item.
Thank you, Mayor. Supervisor Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have
one item I want to make a comment on and an item for disclosure. Do you want me to do both or just a disclosure?
Whatever, yeah, that's fine.
So I'll do both then, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. For agenda item 2B, I am very pleased to see this item moving forward and coming before us to consider in August. This is something that I've been advocating with Mayor Carlos Rodriguez for and working toward for quite some time now. Composting is a critical part of our region's waste management infrastructure. It helps divert organic waste from landfills, supports compliance with state mandates, and provides important environmental benefits. Recognizing composting as an essential public service is an important step toward providing greater certainty for projects that help protect public health and the environment while delivering services residents rely on every day. So I want to thank AQMD staff for their collaboration, responsiveness, and willingness to work with stakeholders on this issue. We may not have agreed on every detail along the way, but I appreciate the collaboration and the effort that has gone into reaching this point. I also again want to thank my colleagues, especially Mayor Rodriguez, for helping me spearhead this issue, elevating this conversation and highlighting the essential nature of these operations, and appreciate the chair and vice chair for coming to our facilities as well. I look forward to reviewing the final proposal and am encouraged by the progress that has been made. And then, Mr. Chairman, for item 6, I do not have a financial interest, but I am required to identify for the record that I am a county supervisor for the County of Orange, which is involved in this item. Thank you.
Supervisor Mayor McCallum.
Thank you. For agenda items 4 and 14, I don't have a financial interest, but I'm required to identify for the record that I'm the chair of the Mobile Source Air Pollution Reduction Review Committee, which is involved in this item.
Thank you, Lee. And Mayor Rodriguez.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo the sentiments from Supervisor Nguyen, that the leadership that the supervisor has displayed again on key issues related to the county and the landfill. We appreciate being able to collaborate with you on that. I do appreciate the chair and the vice chair visiting personally. I think that along with a can-do attitude by the staff and working to find solutions there really demonstrate again the commitment to just looking at ways to continue to reduce emissions and do it in a way that is going to be most impactful. So thank you again for those efforts, the collaboration, and again, Supervisor, appreciate your leadership. I'll look forward to better days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I have some disclosures for agenda item 4. I don't have a financial interest, but I am required to identify for the record I'm a council member for the city of South Pasadena, a member of the Mobile Source Air Pollution Reduction Committee, which may be involved in this item. For item 14, I also don't have a financial interest, but I'm required to identify for the record I'm a member of the Mobile Source Air Pollution Reduction Review Committee, which is involved in this item. Board members, does anybody want to, there's a couple items for public comment, items 2, 6, 7, and 25. In addition to those items on the consent calendar, which is 1 through 28, do any board members want to pull any items?
No, Chair, but I was just going to make a motion to approve when appropriate.
Okay. There's nobody pulling, so except for items 2, 6, 7, and 25. Mayor, do you want to make the motion to approve?
Yes.
Moved by Mayor Rock Dawson, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair.
So I would recommend that we
Go ahead, Bay.
have a public comment.
Before first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to item 2, and then we'll come back to that motion. Item number 2 is set for public hearing, and there's a comment from John Dickinson in the audience. John, come up, please. If you want to testify on item number 2, raise your hand online. Go ahead, John, welcome.
Oh, there. Thank you. Good morning. My name is John Dickinson. I'm a consultant in the region here, and I am governed by the South Coast Air Quality Management District's 1403. And I think that the board needs to be aware.
Mr. Chair, just wanted to let you know, this does appear to be something that would have been appropriate to
Oh.
hear under general public comment, but it's up to your discretion to allow him to speak on it now, since it's probably his first time here.
Yes, that was on public comment portion because it's not on our agenda, but we'll let you wrap it up. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I am here because of the overreach that the 1403 Compliance Division has been enforcing on my regulatory agents or my group. We have been forced to follow rules that were in the last 2019 version of the 1403, which are not allowed under federal and state law. We have been had our procedure fives. I've got one that took me 3 months to get approved because of a difference of opinion between staff. I've had staff do strong arm tactics. They will not return phone calls. They have called my clients and specifically told my clients to try to force me to do things. I've been in a constant discussion with South Coast AQMD reps, from the general counsel all the way down to Terrence Mann to all the staff members since January. I got a message yesterday. They could no longer talk to me because somebody told them that I was hiring an attorney, which is not true. So there are some good people there, but you had people like Chris Ravenstein. Since he came into the agency, the more influence he got, the more he decided to do things on his own way. And somebody needs to have some oversight over this division. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Next, we'll go to item number 6. There's public, there, I think there's some.
It's Harvey.
Harvey, which number do you want to speak on? On the items on our consent calendar, Harvey, you got your hand raised. Which item?
Hello. Am I being heard? Yes.
Yes, Harvey, we can hear you.
I want to speak on 2 and 6 and 7.
And how much time does he have, just for all that?
Pardon?
Half minutes for all the.
Harvey, go ahead. You've got it. 1.5 minutes for all those items. Go ahead.
Okay. On 2, there was a meeting on the 20th at 5 o'clock. I've asked for 2 weeks to get information on this about the SIPs and setting up maintenance plans. There's been a history going back. They're saying that they qualify for things. PM 2.5 goes right through your lung wall and into your circulatory system and causes cancer and kills you. All right. People don't know this. 78% of the deaths are from that. It's a criteria pollutant, but it should be a toxic as well. Okay, now this stuff has to do with that, and you've totally ignored the Solar New Deal, the Sunshot Program, everything to do with this, and what is cost effective, and that's got to be remedied. Okay, on the invest plan, you got in $500,000, this clean plan. There was no public input. It was all done on the sides in private meetings, like the stuff happening at the ports is illegal. And then you've got the 7, like to help out with these are hundreds of millions of dollars, and you have to be setting up worker co-ops and try to spread out equity within the system and do this through CEQA requires this, et cetera, and this is not being done and being ignored, and we're litigating on this as well. So these maintenance plans also have in the backup not just contingency plans, but provisions to do stuff that's less than the demonstrations required in the Clean Air Act. And that's got to be utilized and pursued. And this is a cover-up. You go into D.C. and you're trying to go backdoor because you don't want sanctions. There was $75 billion for transportation.
Next, we have Juanita Chavez. What item would you want to speak on?
I think that I had comment that was supposed to be in the general comment section, but I'm sorry, I'm new to the meeting and I didn't realize raising my hand would put me on the list. So if I just may have a few moments of your time.
The general public comment has been closed. It's up to the chair.
Yes, you've got 1.5 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. I'm Juanita Chavez. I'm the director of the Sierra Club Angeles chapter, and I'm here today in strong support of the Go Zero program and to urge the Air District to continue advancing policies that reduce pollution from gas appliances in our homes and buildings. It's not just about replacing appliances, it's about protecting public health. As you know, our region continues to experience some of the worst air quality, just echoing what other people said before me about the health effects and this community that's suffering. I can personally attest to the value of this program. Thanks to incentives, I was able to replace central air in my home with heat pumps, 5 heat pumps, and only pay $16,000 out of pocket. What an incredible incentive. Without that support, making the switch would have been much more difficult for me. So the program made clean technology affordable for me, and it can do the same for thousands of other families across our region. The good news is that the funding still exists. More than $80 million remains in the Rule 111 and 1121 Mitigation Fund. These dollars were collected to reduce pollution, and they should be put to work now, helping residents and businesses transition to cleaner technologies. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Is there, okay, we'll go to item number 6. Lupe Valdez. Welcome, Lupe. Still not working, I don't think.
Still not working.
There it
Oh, there it
goes.
goes. Okay. Good morning, Chairman Cacciati and members of the board. My name is Lupe Valdez. I'm the Senior Director of Public Affairs for Union Pacific Railroad. I just was here to support the staff recommendation and also the Technology Committee recommendation for this. We are thrilled to be part of this and supporting you. Up here, I could not mention to share with you, to each of you, to express my sentiments and my condolences for the passing of Dr. Bill Burke. He was actually on my hiring panel when I first started my career at UP here, and we've subsequently had some interesting times together in the times that I served here as the DEO. But more importantly, he also had an incredible sense of humor, and I have to mention that because there were times when his humor was just beyond belief in terms of all the issues he dealt with. But I first met him when he was on when he started the marathon in Los Angeles and devoted to nonprofits funding opportunities to be able to raise funds at each mile of the marathon. And I was with the YWCA in LA, and that's how we first met. So he was philanthropic as well with his company, as well as the work he did here. So I just wanted to mention that. But thank you very much, and we support the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Thanks, Lupe. Next is Mike DiBernardo. Welcome, Mike.
Good morning, Chair Cacciati, board members, Executive Director Nastri, and AQMD staff. My name is Mike DiBernardo, Deputy Executive Director at the Port of Los Angeles. My condolences as well to Dr. Burke's family and the AQMD family as well. I'm here to offer my support for the Invest Clean grant and say thank you. As you know, the Port of LA, Port of Long Beach, and AQMD entered into a cooperative agreement late last year, and approving this item perfectly aligns with the initiatives we agreed upon within our agreement and the Joint Ports Clean Air Action Plan. Charting infrastructure is critical in providing the necessary tools to our stakeholders to deploy zero-emission equipment. Additionally, the funds for our stakeholder to order to secure zero-emission equipment is important. APMT and West Basin container terminals are key terminals at the Port of LA. Battery electric locomotives grants provide the line of business with the ability to deploy the next generation of locomotives and demonstrates their feasibility in that particular work environment. Alameda Beltline is currently in negotiations with both ports of LA and Long Beach for our new port rail operator. The Port of LA is pleased to offer support to item number 6, and we thank you for your continued support in advancing initiatives and incentives that support our mutual clean air initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Adrian Martinez. Adrian, good to see you and welcome.
Good morning, Chair Cacciati and members of the board. This week I've been thinking a lot about Dr. Burke and the many conversations I had with him. I would ask him a lot of questions about boxing, and he'd talk a lot about Muhammad Ali. And one of the things he conveyed was Muhammad Ali was good at all aspects of boxing, not just good at one piece. That's what made him the greatest. I've been thinking about it. We have a lot of dirty air days in our region this year. We're way above what's normal by this time of year compared to past years. And I think we've had more dirty air days than we've seen by this time in the last decade. And I was thinking about this agenda. We need to do everything well, just as Muhammad Ali did. I'm very appreciative of the investments in non-polluting transportation. The investments today are great. In addition to cleaning up transportation and the great work you're doing to get non-polluting vehicles out there, Very excited that the Go Zero program is being unpaused. I'm very excited that the Stationary Source Committee is asking for a proposal to expand that program. It's a critical affordability program, and it's really important in times like this. And the last piece is we really need to focus on large industrial equipment, and we look forward to working with the board to develop an incentive program to tackle that in addition to passing strong regulations. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. Final speaker here on number 6 is Martin Yarnall. Welcome, Martin.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Marty Yarnell. I am the head of Alameda Beltline. First, I wanted to thank the staff and the board for this award. ABL is fully committed to electrifying locomotive operations. We're highly committed to the goal of 100% zero emissions operations in the Port of Los Angeles and the Port of Long Beach. We are very happy to support and partner with Medha as the technology partner with this proven expertise and commercial deployment of this products in Toledo, Ohio, and the Port of Houston, where we've spent time with those locomotives in those locations. We look forward to working with the staff and the board in improving the air quality in the San Pedro Bay Port Basin and along the 710 corridor. Just to conclude, I do believe this is a very historic deployment of this technology. We're motivated to be a part and support job and workforce development in advanced technologies. And again, just wanted to say thank you to the staff and the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Adrian, you were up for 25. Did you pull it? No, you're okay. So that's in-house public comment done, Larry.
Yeah, we have 2 people who are signed up for public comment on the consent calendar. If you would, general public comment is closed, but if you have comments on consent calendar items, please identify the consent item. And the first one is phone number 310-365-5607. You can unmute, please. You're still unmuted. Muted. Let's go on to Christopher Allen.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Which item are you talking about?
Item number 6.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Chair and board members. My name is Christopher Allen, and I'm speaking on behalf of APM Terminals. We'd like to express our support for item number 6 and thank the South Coast Air Quality Management District for advancing the Invest Clean program. APM Terminals applied to replace 29 aging diesel terminal tractors with fully electric terminal tractors. Programs like Invest Clean help bridge the funding gap for large-scale equipment replacements and accelerate emissions reductions at ports and throughout the goods movement sector. We appreciate the board's leadership in supporting investment to help move cleaner technologies from planning to deployment, and respectfully urge your support of this item. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Last call on phone number ending in 5607. You're still muted. We'll continue. We'll close the public comment, Mr. Chair, and go back to a motion on this item.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So we've got a motion items 1 through 28. Is that correct, Mayor and Vice Chair? Okay. Board members, any comments on those items before we take a vote? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call on the motion by Mayor Patricia Locke Dawson, seconded by Mayor Larry McCallan, and that's to approve items 1 through 28. Oh, on mine. Thanks, Larry. Everyone, please vote. That's 10 yes, 0 no's, no abstentions, 3 absent. Motion passes. Great. Now we'll move to the public hearing portion. Great work, great work. Item number 30, Heather.
Hi, good morning, Chair, members of the board. I'm here to present our proposed amendments to Rule 1136. Next slide, please. So Rule 1136 regulates VOC emissions from wood coatings. It was adopted in 1983. It has not been amended since 1996. We did bring this item to the board in April. However, we were directed to bring it back to stationary, continue conversations with stakeholders. At stationary source in April, we were directed to bring it back in May. However, we delayed it to have a public hearing today with you all. Next slide, please. Just want to stress the importance of this rule. As I mentioned, the rule regulates VOC emissions for wood coatings. Those coatings are achieving the VOC limits, the majority of them through the use of two compounds, parachlorobenzyl trifluoride or PCBTF and tertiary butyl acetate or TBAC. We now know those solvents cause cancer. So the main focus of this amendment is to phase out of these two cancer-causing solvents to really protect public health. Next slide, please. So when it comes to the health effects of PCBTF and TBAC, our sister organization, the Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment, or OEHA, evaluates the health risks for different materials, and they did determine that these two solvents cause cancer. So prolonged exposure to these solvents lead to increased cases of thyroid, liver, and lung cancer. So we were directed in 2017 by the Stationary Source Committee to really prioritize lowering toxicity even over VOC reductions. And that's what we're trying to do today with this rule. We're trying to remove these toxic solvents from our community. Next slide, please. Just want to go through a little background on some coating operations and how Rule 1136 regulates them. So the image just shows coatings being applied. As they're applied, VOCs are emitted. As they dry, VOCs continue to be emitted. And those are the emissions that are regulated by 1136. Next slide, please. There are different ways that coatings are cured. Some of them are just sprayed, set aside, and allowed to air dry. Some of them are dried using heat in like a combustion oven. And then we have some that are dried using lamps, UV, EB, or LED lamps. Next slide, please. So those different technologies, UV and EB, ultraviolet or electron beam, those were the first generation of energy curable lamps. In the early 2000s, we came out with light emitting diode or LED lamps. Next slide, please. So this shows a similar image, just showing that coating operation being cured by those lamps. And again, those lamps have no emissions. It's not like a combustion oven, so there's no NOx emissions. However, the coatings that are used, that are applied, still can have VOC emissions that are emitted while they're being applied and emitted while they are drying. Next slide, please. So, just to overall reiterate, 1136 regulates the emissions for the VOCs of those coatings. It does not regulate the curing technologies. And while those curing technologies for UV, EB, LED do not have NOx emissions, they can be used with coatings that have high VOCs. Next slide, please. Just want to walk through a few key remaining issues. The first one was a request to have an exemption for UV, EB, LED technologies. However, if these coatings were exempt, then they wouldn't have to meet the VOC limits. If they were exempt, they wouldn't, the prohibitions that we're proposing wouldn't apply, so they could be formulated with PCBTF or TBAC or other toxics. And also, if we had facilities using high VOC coatings that are cured with these technologies, they wouldn't be required to put in air pollution control systems. Why we think it's really important for this rule in particular is that we do have a facility regulated by Rule 1136 that is applying high VOC coatings that are cured with UV lamps. Next slide, please. Another key issue, we were asked to change the definition of our reactive diluent or add some further information in our staff report. And we did do an enhanced write-up in our staff report, even added to that after the April board meeting and shared that with our stakeholders. Next slide, please. The last key issue I want to talk about is about the exemption. The rule has a 1 gallon per day exemption, and a request was made at the April board meeting to change that exemption to a 1 pound per day VOC exemption. So just a little bit of background on that exemption. It was included in the rule in the early 90s at a time where we really were seeking aggressive VOC reductions. So it gave our facilities kind of just a way to comply with the rule as things were, as VOCs were rapidly being reduced. And so if we were to change that longstanding exemption, we'd really need a public process. We'd need to talk about it with our facilities, seek input, and make sure that whatever change we made was workable through all the regulated industry. And then the other concern we have, if we were to transition those facilities from those high VOC coatings to those lower VOC coatings, it would be pushing them into those PCBTF and TBAC-based coatings that we now know cause cancer. So we have added to the resolution. We do think it's worthwhile to look at this exemption. However, we would like to do that after the coatings have transitioned away from PCBTF and TBAC. So we're including that in our technology check-in. Next slide, please. So we already had proposed to have a technology check-in. We had a stakeholder request this. Anytime we're asking manufacturers to reformulate, it's a good idea to check in before those dates come into effect, make sure the reformulation efforts have been successful. So at that time, we think that would be the appropriate time to evaluate this exemption. Once those low VOC coatings no longer have these toxic solvents, that would be an appropriate time to really take a look at this exemption. And so that is a technology check-in with a report back by January 2029. Next slide, please. So staff recommendations, we do recommend that we determined that the amendments to Rule 1136 are exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, to amend this rule today and to direct staff to submit it to be included in the state implementation plan.
Hey, we're playing tag team here. Okay, so in light of what Heather just highlighted for that issue number 3, we are proposing some alternative. Thank you, Caesar, because I'm blind these days. Okay, great. So we're going to propose some additionalities to the resolution language that's in your package to read what's highlighted here in the bold and underline to evaluate the 1 gallon exemption. You will see that in your resolution package, but we're proposing to add some more things in light of our stakeholders' concerns, and to add on where the staff will evaluate the level and the form of this exemption, giving these examples like she has noted, such as mass emissions, VOC content, and usage. So this is for your consideration.
Okay, Michael, thank you for the tag team. Great job. Before questions, let's hear from the public. It might affect some of our questions. Rita, you're first. You're Loof. Welcome, Rita.
Good morning. Rita Loof, RadTech. Thank you, board members, for your engagement and efforts on this matter. I want to focus on 2 issues. Number 1, lack of transparency in the Rule 1136 process. And number 2, our proposed clarifications for the resolution language that deals with the exemption. The board should absolutely disregard the claims that there's some boogeyman high VOC UV coating as stated in slide 10 of the presentation. I've been asking for the evidence for months, and a few weeks ago, staff finally responded and said I should file a public records request. Any document that staff uses as part of the rulemaking should be provided to the public and the board. Delaying disclosure of relevant information to the regulated community until after a rule is adopted is inconsistent with principles of transparency and good faith engagement. And I was just told a few minutes ago that staff has amended the resolution language, so I'm glad they're in agreement with our proposal on that. I'm glad you got to see Fender Guitar. They are one of the customers of UV technology, and they are the type of facility that we advocate for to ensure that they remain in Southern California in compliance and reducing emissions above and beyond what the district has envisioned in their rules. Thank you.
Rita, I'll pass it off to the vice chair.
We have several commenters online. First is Harvey Etter. Harvey, this is on 1136.
Okay. I like to ditto what Rita said, and it shows the problems we've had with solar and getting stuff evaluated for the past 40 years. Also, what was done in number 2, that this should be delayed at least, because we put in requests for comments. The comments are due on the 16th, and we don't have anything sent to us. We're trying to get all documents. So that's enough for now. And the 90 seconds is ridiculous. There's a difference between shall and may. We won a Supreme Court case in 16
Thank you for
and
your comments,
Alaska A
Mr.
versus
Adir.
MKR, and it says that.
Thank you, Harvey. Next, Chris Chavez.
Yes, good morning, board members. Chris Chavez, Deputy Policy Director at Coalition for Clean Air. My pardon for any background noise. I'm actually at a staff event in Catalina, so out and about right now. First, before I begin, I do want to thank also the board for their actions in the previous item. We did submit a support letter for one of the projects, so thank you for that, as well as expressing my condolences regarding Chair Burke. Specific to this item, we do appreciate the commitment to having a technological review of the high VOC exemption. And again, want to overall, reiterate our overall support for the efforts to eliminate these 2 carcinogenic chemicals. Should the board move forward with this rule today, we really hope that AQMD will be able to work in partnership and in being able to address the ongoing issues of the UV, EV, LED industry. Certainly want to make sure that we are supporting clean technologies. We certainly also plan on continuing to track this issue and being engaged should the board move forward with this resolution. So again, I think it's seeing the tech review commitment in there is a positive, and should it move forward, we still have some. We'd just like to see those remaining issues worked out. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Chris. Next, we have Bill Quinn.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. My name is Bill Quinn, and I'm with SEEB, the California Council for Environmental and Economic Balance. Very briefly, on behalf of SEEB, I too would like to extend our deepest condolences to Dr. Burke's family, especially to his wife, former Supervisor Yvonne Burke, and his daughter, former Assembly Member Autumn Burke. With regard to 1136, once again, I am here to support the staff proposal and to encourage your vote in favor of this measure. SEEB members come from a variety of businesses throughout California, including aerospace, entertainment, refining, and utilities. Our members understand the need to remove PCBTF and TBAC from wood coating systems and firmly support staff's proposal to completely phase out their uses. We also want to emphasize that with many wood coating applications, reformulating new coatings without PCBTF and TBAC will be necessary. This involves many unknowns, takes significant time and resources. Staff's proposal as presented to you provides a workable solution to this solution. We also support the resolution and encourage you to adopt this rule. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill, for your comments. And next, we have Howard Reagan.
Good morning, board. As a UV coating manufacturer, the fundamental question to me is simple. Should regulations be based on emissions or on production volume? If a facility can produce twice as much output with half the emissions, regulations should encourage that outcome, not penalize it. The current proposal regulates usage volume rather than actual emissions. Once again, the presentation presented brings up this unusual UV coating with 541 grams per liter of VOC. We all know that there's one company being referenced and that UV system that they installed had its air system integrated into the existing permitted solvent recovery system. There were no additional VOCs generated, and that was based on the district's own monitoring. Staff has been asked several times to produce the material safety data sheet for this unusual coating to back up their claims, but they've elected not to provide it. The staff knows it will confirm that there are no VOCs or either of the 2 toxics. They are trying to either embellish their position or this is a blatant falsehood to bamboozle the board. The energy curable industry strongly supports efforts to reduce toxic emissions and VOCs. Because our technology achieves these goals, exempting qualifying UV, EV, or LEV products is common sense policy that benefits business, air, and the public.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Doug Raymond.
Morning, Chair, members of the board. My name is Doug Raymond. I'm a consultant for the Waterlocks Coating Corporation in Cleveland, Ohio, a manufacturer of high-end wood coatings. It's my pleasure to be able to support the amendments to Rule 1136. Myself and Waterlocks have a long history of working with Heather and the staff on the concept of reactivity. I was instrumental in working with the Air Resources Board on the reactivity rule for aerosol coatings back in the early 2000s. Reactivity is sound science and the best way to attack the VOC reduction issue. Waterlocks currently uses PCBTF and will be attempting to reformulate to meet your new reactivity limits for Rule 1136. Thus, we are supportive of this rule and look forward to working with the staff on the upcoming rules such as Rule 1113. As always, the staff was great to work with. Thank you for your time and consideration to this rule, and my condolences to for Dr. Burke. Dr. Burke and I were both originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and throughout the years, every time I presented, he would always ask me, "How's Cleveland, Ohio doing?" So, thank you very much. Talk to you later. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Bill Lamar.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Bill Lamar, Executive Director of the California Alliance of Small Business Associations. On behalf of all my members, Alliance members, we'd like to extend our deep condolences to the Burke family on the passing of Dr. Burke. With respect to Rule 1136, we support staff's proposed changes to phase out PCBTF and TBAC, as well as to maintain the 1 gallon per day low use exemption. We appreciate the way staff has addressed the issues and questions that were raised during the public process, and we support their rationale for resolving these issues for the benefit of the business community and regional air quality. Conversely, we do not support the last-minute attempts by a few witnesses at this and at last month's public hearing to open the aperture of Rule 1136 with additional changes that were not part of the original public process. We respectfully request that you approve staff's recommendations in the proposed rule and resolution and forward to CARB and EPA for inclusion into the state implementation plan. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Chair, that includes public comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Board members, any questions, comments? Vice Chair, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. You know, the main goal of PAR 1136 is to phase out the use of 2 toxic solvents, but to also seek VOC reductions where feasible. The Stationary Source Committee has met and discussed this rule on 2 occasions. On both occasions, the committee has sent the rule to the full board without changing the staff recommendations. Just before the rule came to our board, one of stakeholders requested a change to the 1 gallon per day exemption without it going through the normal stakeholder working group process. We have heard the argument from the stakeholder to change the exemption and the counter argument by other business entities that any such change needs to be vetted by all of the stakeholders. Having heard the stakeholder arguments and reading all the material before us today, I agree with the staff's recommendation to not change the 1 gallon per day exemption until the coatings are reformulated away from using toxic solvents. After the wood coating have been successfully reformulated to remove the toxic solvents, our staff can consider changes to the mass-based to the exemption, such as a smaller volume-based exemption or a mass-based exemption, like the pound per day exemption suggested by the stakeholder. However, any changes to the existing exemption needs to go through a public process, that includes all the stakeholders. The changes that have been made in Rule 1136 were discussed in public meetings and included in the early versions of PAR 1136 language. A change of the magnitude requested at this point in the rule process circumvents input from others in the regulated industry. Therefore, I urge my colleagues to approve staff's recommendation.
Is that a motion, Vice Chair?
Yes, that is my motion.
Is there a second? Second by Supervisor Perez. Any more comment? Let's vote. Ten yeses, 0 no's, no abstentions, passes. Great job. And Mike Kraus up for item number 31. The tag team continues.
Thank you very much. Okay, today I'm presenting to you some proposed amendments to 3 of our reclaim rules, 2011, 2012, and 2015. Next slide, please. Okay, by way of background, this is these rules are focused on as part of a suite of rules that help structure and provide requirements for our reclaim program. Just a reminder, reclaim program is our regional clean air incentives market. This was regulating both NOx and SOx. It basically was sort of allocations to every facility to give them flexibility upon which they can work on their operations when it comes to emissions. They just need to stay under the allocations. If they do work on a particular project, you're required to provide credits. So this is very similar to our new source review with emission reduction credits. It's designed to kind of give them flexibility and also allow them to provide reductions along the way. Next slide, please. So with regards to these rules diving in, 2011, 2012 focus in on the monitoring of those emissions. So the facilities are required to provide continuous emissions monitoring to us. 2011 focuses on SOx emissions, 2012 on NOx emissions. We also have another rule, 2015, that looks at basically auditing the program along the way. So our agency comes out with a report on an annual basis to kind of talk about, and you've heard it all before, from these facilities, where they at on their reductions or trends, what's the cost of these credits, et cetera, and then provide some backstop provisions in case something might be needs an adjustment in the program. Next slide, please. So with regards to the monitoring, so right now the rule specifically requires the facilities to use modems. And I think I described this already in one of our past meetings. I won't get into it. You guys all remember what a modem was. So, but it's outdated. And so basically what we're doing is we're modifying the language to allow some more flexibility, to allow folks to come to us and use an alternative means by which they can transmit their data to us. So it's still very important to maintain this. So, it's part of the backbone of the program for compliance purposes, but yet we have to be moving into the modern world. Okay, next slide, please. And then with regards to some of our auditing, again, back when this was written back in the 90s, we wanted to put in the report, commit ourselves to like showing you guys the historical air quality data where we have with toxics. And as you all know, over time, we now have all of that. We've had this online now. We can just pull it up right here. There's no need to kind of do all this extra work when basically we can provide a link. And then, similarly with the toxics, we have our MATES program. We're now entering into our 6th version of this. So lots of data already out there. No need to spend a lot of time rewriting all of that. And as you can imagine, these audits that we now do tend to get more and more complex. So we're going to provide a little bit more time for staff to compile those reports and get them to you. Right now, the rule says March, so we're just pushing it out to June to make sure that we get you a good, thorough report. Next slide, please. With regards to impact, as you can tell, there's really no physical modifications involved in this, so the CEQA assessment will be an exemption, and there's no additional cost involved in this process as well, so no socioeconomic impacts. Next slide, please. So we're recommending determining that these projects, or these rule amendments, I should say, are exempt from CEQA and to amend the 3 rules.
Thank you, Mike. Well, let's go to public comment first. I see no one in the auditorium with your hands up. Larry, online, you got 2.
Harvey, you're up.
Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, you are, Harvey.
Yeah, I'm Harvey Eder, ditto. I'm incorporating by reference an article from last Sunday or Monday LA Times on what CARB did a week ago that relates to this, about the greenhouse gas fund being cut in half. And then we tried to get stuff into the records. They did not actually study the actual deaths and stuff. There's 1.1 to 1.5 million premature deaths in the U.S. each year. That's an article in Lancet from 10 years ago that Dr. Pedro Piqueras gave us. And that at 10%, that's 110 to 150 million thousand deaths a year.
Thank you, Harvey. Next, we have Bill Quinn.
Yes, good morning again, Mr. Chair and members. I just want to briefly state that Steve has had a chance to review this. We support moving away from modems, and we support this proposal. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your comment, Bill. Mr. Chair, that concludes public comment.
Okay, I see Mayor almost his hand raised. Mayor?
Yeah, just a quick question. How many facilities still remain in reclaimed water today?
It's around a little over 300
About 300? That's it.
for the Knox program.
Knox, okay.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions for staff?
I'll move approval.
Motion by Vice Chair, second by Supervisor Perez. Let's vote. Ten yes, 0 no's, it passes. Our final item on the agenda is item number 32, and Mike Kraus again, he's got a busy day.
No problem. It's my job. Okay, well, new rule. We haven't had one of these in a while. So actually, this is, not to take it lightly, but I'm calling this the 6-pack because we haven't taken this in a while. 6 rules taken to you as one full package suite. So next slide, please. And today we're talking about open burning and firewood and all that kind of stuff. So basically the idea here is that we already have an existing rule, open burning rule, Rule 444. A lot of our public agencies out there, as you know, do this as far as wildfire controls and things like that. However, there's some new technology out there, but the new technology cannot be permitted currently as it stands in our agency. And I'll get to that in a moment, but let's talk about background here. So we know that we have forestry and agricultural waste out there that has to be disposed. And again, typically it's done under an uncontrolled open burn. And this picture here kind of really depicts something interesting because there's your open burn. You can see all the smoke being emitted. Along with that smoke is carrying particulate matter, right? And those are dangerous for us for public health. On the lower end there, that kind of looks like a truck. That is actually the air curtain incinerator. This is kind of a technology, as you can see, it's sort of like in a box. And what you kind of can't see here, though, is there's a flow of air that's cutting across the top of that box. You ever kind of go into like a place where there's like a refrigeration and you walk past those like sheets and you feel that cold air or whatever, like that's kind of locking in. That's the concept. So you're basically trapping in when you light up the wood in that box, you're trapping those that smoke as well as that particulate matter by 60 to 90% compared to an open burn. So kind of keep that in mind as we're discussing here. Again, they're called air curtain incinerators. We're also folding in something else. I'll show you a picture of it in a second here. I'll call prescribed fire vehicles. These are otherwise known as burn bots. You may have heard that term. Next slide, please. Okay, so again, we talked about the air curtain incinerator up there on the right. On the lower right, however, this is what's considered a prescribed fire vehicle. So basically, it's a vehicle that will move across like a more flat sort of space, like you can see here, like in a field, to kind of cut away for like grasses, low growth brush, these kinds of things. These are areas that the fire departments are concerned about because these are ones, again, that catch fires. They could be near homes or buildings, freeways, what have you. But basically, the idea though is that you've got a flare or a fire that torch, I guess they call it, and then a fan kind of like as you're torching that and lighting up that grass, you then have a fan that kind of pushes all that smoke into this chamber. You see the burn chamber over there, and therefore it doesn't go out into the ambient air. So that's sort of the basic concept of that. And both of these types of technologies, we believe are really good technologies. Again, 60 to 90% reduction as compared to an open burn. So we really want to provide the access for CAL FIRES and U.S. Forest Service, the government entities, to be able to utilize this type of technology and to provide a pathway with our rules to ensure that they can be able to do that. Now, I just want to keep in mind here that they still are high emissions. These are still high emitting, just due to the nature of burning wood, basically, right? And being able to capture it effectively. So I just want to make sure that point is made. But we're looking at it from a perspective of saying, existing setting is open burning, this is much better. Next slide, please. With regards to the needs for the rules, so 3 of these rules in the 6-pack actually are kind of hindering their ability to get permitted. There are certain things in there like opacity readings and certain standards that our existing rules have that again gives us the inability currently to allow those to operate within our region. I'll touch on them a little bit further here in a moment. And then this was also initiated, by the way, because we discussed this in our PM air quality management plan, if you recall, as areas by which we can look at what we're doing today and how we can do better with some newer technology and reduce PM emissions in our air. Next slide, please. Okay, with regards to the new rule is going to have a number of things here. First off, we're only going to have it apply to, again, just to these air curtain incinerators and these prescribed fire vehicles. It'll be only for vegetation waste, right? So that's going to be like the woods and the green waste and that sort of thing, but not things like metals or controlled substances or, what contraband, et cetera. Okay, so those will be prohibited in being used in these in this equipment. We're going to have best management practices. We're going to have folks, if they're going to utilize that equipment, contact us. Similar to open burns, where they contact us, they get an authorization. Contacting us gives us the ability to know when it's being done, where it's being conducted, et cetera. It also allows us to gather data when all of that equipment is being operated. And of course, there'll be record keeping. This is new equipment, and this is new for us. So there's lots of things we want to learn from the operation of them, such as source testing, which we'll require. Next slide, please. With regards back to those 3 rules that I mentioned, one of them has opacity readings, another one has PM concentration numbers, another one has some limits on there. With regard to opacity, actually the rule will have some performance standards when it comes to opacity. So we'll be covering that actually in the rule, so we don't need to have them complying with 401. It's very unique to this equipment. And then as far as the PM is concerned, again, we already know we're going to get a large reduction compared to what they're doing currently. Next slide, please. With regards to the final 2 rules, what we would like to do is we're going to exempt them from permitting under certain conditions. The reason being is primarily for timing, right? So a fire department needs to use this ACI. They need to get out there. We recognize that to kind of file for a permit application at a certain location, et cetera, is going to be very timely. And so we recognize that we took a step back and say, hey, what do we really want to know? We really just want to know that, there's a piece of equipment out there, who owns it, and again, with the authorization, we'll know when that is actually being operated. So we're going to put them under our 222 registration. We already have the forms generated already that they need to fill out. They'll be posted on Tuesday. And if this rule passes, and then of course make them exempt from permitting. This would not include those, however, that are in Title V. Next slide, please. With regards to the socio and the environmental impacts, we do believe, of course, that this is going to protect the public with fewer emissions. So therefore, there's an air quality benefit. So this qualifies for an exemption under CEQA. And with regards to the cost, while this is not a mandatory requirement, this is elected for them if they want to use it. We did take the conservative approach of just looking at, so you guys would have the information with regards to if someone used it, they would have to file for registration, they would have to operate it with diesel fuel, things like that. So just wanted to put that out there for the socioeconomic analysis. Next slide, please. Just have one key issue. Later, we got a comment letter about expanding this for basically private entities. Again, we focus this primarily on the government entities. Just kind of keep in mind that open burning, or our current open burning rule already, is restricted primarily to the public agencies. These are the fire professionals out there. So for us, we think that, we feel like we're in good hands with those folks out there, those government entities doing it. This is, again, not been allowed to use before. These are still high emitting equipment. We really do need to assess what the emissions are through source testing and the performance standards and see how that works out. And I think we could consider expanding that out at a future date. Next slide, please. So I'm here to recommend that we determine that these 6-pack of rules are exempt from CEQA and to adopt them.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions for staff? Just one question, Mike. Regarding the current rules and practices, let's say there's been fire season and Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy or U.S. Forestry Service in the San Gabriel Mountains or any of our mountains wants to burn something, they've got to notify us first, or they can just go out there and burn it? Open burn I'm talking about.
The open burn, yes, they contact us for notification for the open burn. They cannot burn on a no burn day.
And do we go out there and inspect, or what happens?
Well, leave that.
Perhaps Terrence can provide some clarification. Terrence, go ahead.
Sorry, that whisper was louder than I intended.
I heard something up here.
Terrence Mann, Chief of Enforcement. So these requests come in through the Enforcement Division. And so burners will request, they have a smoke management plan at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the year, it's approved. Then they come in and say, pursuant to that plan, we're going to do A, B, and C. Here's where proximity to sensitive receptors, et cetera. They are issued a burn number and they can proceed. The historical prohibition has been on no burn days. So normally they would have to wait and not be able to burn if our meteorologists make that determination. Now, over the last year or so, we have initiated a pilot program as an agency based on concerns arising from the LA wildfires. And so we have been undergoing a process whereby we are allowing those kind of controlled burns on no burn days. There are conversations that happen. The fire authority makes assurances that this place to be burned is potentially close to homes, close to schools, that kind of thing. And so there's a safety concern. And when we receive those assurances, we allow it to proceed. So we've been very flexible and we're working very closely with the fire authorities to make sure this is done right and keeps everybody safe.
Thanks, Terrence. Mayor Ron Dawson. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, Mayor.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate a part of your report, the origins of this proposal. You had heard from agencies with respect to best practices of fire mitigation. Can you maybe just restate that for a moment?
Yes, that is correct. So we got approached by the U.S. Forest Service with this issue, as well as CAL FIRE. And then we did follow up with our local fire groups, and I believe we wrote to you on with regards to San Bernardino and Riverside counties as well.
Thank you. And I think just colleagues, I mean, everything we're doing is about health and safety as our mission. And I think just we've learned tragically about, I'll have to look back far in Altadena, Pacific Palisades, and other instances. I know in the County of Orange, no one's really immune to these fires. In Yorba Linda, we're in a high fire designation for our city. We're very sensitive to that. I think we all understand the implications. Anytime we can lend a hand to fire mitigation, I think that's a wise decision. These prescribed fire vehicles, the air curtain incinerators, anything that's working towards clearing brush and vegetation and being proactive and allowing our experts who are doing everything they can to keep us proactive. I think that's a wise and prudent move. I think what's not good is seeing all the work that we do tirelessly, and then these unfortunate fires occur, and the emissions from mass fires, the air quality implications are massive. So again, I would urge us to lean into this and support. I would make a motion to support the staff recommendation. Appreciate the consideration, colleagues. Thank you.
Mayor Ron Dawson.
Hi, thank you. Yes, this is interesting. As somebody with a master's in forestry, I find this intriguing. I am curious, though. I guess so U.S. Forest Service was the one the impetus for this rule. It sounds like they sort of got it going. Two things. I might have missed this, but are they doing a fuels reduction plan in the state with? I mean, is this, anybody know what? Which would include clearing, I'm guessing, not just controlled burns. Wayne?
Yeah, there actually is that program. And I just wanted to add to what Mike was saying. So CAPCO, the California Air Pollution Control Officers, so all of the air districts across the state, have really been grappling with this issue. And there have been reports in the press over the past that prescribed fires couldn't be done because their districts were denying it. And that was actually holding up quite a bit. In our experience, we did not see that. As Terrence explained and as Mike's explained, we work very closely with those agencies, try to make sure we understand, and usually they understand the conditions are very important for those burns. So there's been a confluence of factors, if you will, that have raised this issue. And so what we're trying to do is to make sure that all of the tools are available to the firefighters to make sure that we minimize those wildfires. And then also what we're trying to do is to work with them proactively. So as Terrence described, this last year or so almost is what we're looking at to really sort of take away the argument that, hey, if we're not able to do the prescribed fires, we're going to get these wildfires. That's not our experience, and that's not the data. But we're trying to find out as we move forward, provide those tools, do it in a way that satisfies the air quality concerns, public health concerns from these efforts. And I think what you're hearing today is that medium that gets us all of those factors.
Yeah, no, that's great. We have a lot of actually open space in Riverside, and we just had a big vegetation fire last 2 weeks ago. I think you referenced the Bain fire, which swept through our river bottom. So we're looking at active vegetation management there too. And then lastly, sorry, board, I know we're trying to get to closed session. The CEQA exemption, can you just speak really quickly about that? I guess it's pertaining just to the rules, but not to the actual fire and smoke and that sort of thing. So could you just talk to that a little bit?
Sure. So first off, keep in mind, again, this is not mandatory. This is voluntary. Basically, if they choose to use it, they would need to follow the performance standards upon which the rule is there. So that's the first thing that CEQA looked at. But more importantly, I think what CEQA was looking at was when you think about they call the existing setting under CEQA, the existing setting is an open burn.
Okay.
And so if operating the ACI reduces those emissions 60 to 90%, then you're actually getting a reduction. That's a benefit to air quality, and so a benefit to the environment, and therefore justifies the exemption.
Okay, just making sure we don't get that call on that. I will second the motion if somebody hasn't already. Thank you.
Thank you. So there's a motion by Mayor Rodriguez, second by Mayor Block-Dawson. I just have a question before we vote. Mike, so how many of these U.S. Forest Service, other agencies, like I said, on the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, which is one of the earliest conservancies from Ventura County, Santa Monica Mountains, San Gabriel Mountains, ends about Sierra Madre, Arcadia. How accepting are these agencies of using this air curtain incinerator? I've never heard of it until we brought it up here. I mean, reaching out to these different agencies that kind of work together.
So just to keep in mind, this is new technology.
Okay.
Currently, there's only 4 in the state, right? So it's not widespread yet. However, as CAL FIRE and U.S. Forest Service being state, if not national-wise, agencies do show that's where they are aware of this. Again, that's why they brought it to us. And so, yeah, I think this is going to be trickling out, once we, provide those opportunities for them to utilize these tools.
Just quickly, if I have a meeting of this conservancy, would staff be willing to come and give a presentation like this?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll bring pictures.
Thank you. Okay, there's a motion and any more comments? Motion in a second. Let's vote.
There is one person who signed up for public.
Sorry.
Harvey, you're up.
Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, you are, Harvey.
Okay, my name is Harvey Etter. Ditto my other who I am. All right. The supervisor, since she's got a master's in forestry. Yo, shout out. The reduction of fuel, the burning of the slash. Those of us that have worked in the forests and outside and stuff. My brother wrote a book about this anyway. Alcohol fuels. We ought to look not only at reducing, but to see how we can convert to alcohol fuels. We just had a presentation a month ago at what committee with the board here.
To move beyond this agenda item. Thanks.
Harvey. That's it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. There's a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion passes 10 yeses, 0 nos. And that completes our agenda. Today, you want to tell us about closed session?
Yeah, it's one item should be brief, allegedly. It is necessary for the board to recess to closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9A and 54956.9D4 to consider initiation of litigation in one case, Center for American Public Health Association v. EPA, United States Courts of Appeal, DC Circuit number 26-1037 and consolidated cases, amicus brief. summary of any reportable actions taken in closed session will be provided to the clerk of the board. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.